one-of-a-kind art exhibit is on display at the Galt House now through Derby weekend. As Claudia Coffey tells us, organizers hope guests learn more about Louisville's diverse art community after viewing the show. Take a look.
This is the world's first Bourbon Barrel Bow Tie exhibit. It's called Bow Tied Together. But the real story here is about the veteran that creates the bow tie out of bourbon barrels and how they come together with the artists that create wearable art.
I'm Morgan Hancock, and I'm the founder and director of Bourbon with Heart. So the reason that we decided to do a Bourbon Barrel Bow Tie exhibit is, one, it's Derby, and bow ties are a big part of Derby, and also because you've seen wooden bow ties, but no one has ever made Bourbon Barrel bow ties. And I just couldn't believe that, and so it turned out that I was connected with a group of military veterans who are also woodworkers. They found that woodworking really helps their PTSD, and they use bourbon barrels for their woodworking. So of course I called on them and said, hey, what do you think about making some wooden bow ties out of bourbon barrels? And they said, let's do it.
To be part of this Bourbon with Heart display for the bow-tied events that are and the pieces that are around here is really a pleasure for me to be able to combine my passion for veterans and my artistic talent. Well, Morgan and I, of course, who spearheaded this entire initiative, had worked together. She's a veteran, and so I had done a story on her, and when it just came to my attention that she was doing this wonderful bow-tied art exhibit, and she was collecting all of these artists, and the money was going to charity, I just thought, you know, I could participate in this. And I love the fact that all the artists were given the same background, the same piece of wood frame, but we had no restrictions and no regulations about what we could or couldn't do.
So when people come to see this exhibit, I hope that, you know, they see a piece of themselves in it, whether it's in the design, whether it's in the artist and their story, because it was important to us to have artists from all different walks of life and all different skill sets, and also, you know, that they see and they think about and they appreciate and they remember the service of the veterans.
I did know I wanted one of my pieces to be a veteran-centric piece, just to go along with the crew's custom flag and bow tie piece. And then I also wanted my other piece to reflect my fashion illustration history as well. So I feel like I got both Heathers in there together quite nicely. The veterans piece specifically, I knew I wanted something personal, and of course I always like to try to highlight unknown stories if I can for veterans and military families. So here in Louisville, there's a family who actually is part of my dad's history in Vietnam. My dad was wounded on December 27th, 1967 in Operation Badger Tooth, which actually that full operation was from mid-1967 to mid-1968. But my father was injured specifically on December 27th, 1967. And I knew I wanted to highlight the men who died that day because they're all on panel 32E on the Vietnam Memorial. But when I did a bit more digging into Operation Badger Tooth, I didn't want to leave out anyone else that had passed away during that time, and that also included my dad's best friend, Charlie Smith. So Charlie and Dad went through boot camp together. Charlie's from here in Louisville. His family is still here in Louisville. Charlie sadly passed away on February 28th, 1968. And through the story of finding out about his death and my father's own emotional struggle coming to terms with the fact that Charlie passed away, I knew I wanted to highlight Charlie within that as well. And I love the fact that his family, we have all become great friends. I actually hand wrote each name, their rank, and the wall number and line number of where they are on the Vietnam Memorial, because too often we are not recognizing each one of these individuals who've given the ultimate sacrifice.
When Morgan approached us with the opportunity to work with local veterans and local artists with a charitable component, it was a really easy answer. It's our culture, it's who we are, and we are authentic Louisville. When our founder, Mr. Sneeder, built this hotel, it was important for him to build the hotel for Louisville, and he's always been real involved in giving back to the community. And so to see the bow ties that are really popular, made out of bourbon barrels, and get to see our local artists. It's a display that they'll leave with and they'll take back with them.
I got really emotional sitting in my studio. It brought up all these emotions in me of, wow, we're actually able to do projects like this because men and women have sacrificed their entire lives to be able to afford us these freedoms. I want it to resonate more about why we're here, how we are here, and their military service needs to be remembered. And Derby is such a fun, splashy time. We love it. It's, we party for 2 weeks for a 2-minute race, certainly. But when you think about being able to be here to celebrate that 2 weeks, I just wanted something that represented the how are we here.
So this exhibit, part of the proceeds are going to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. I was named a Visionary of the Year candidate, so it worked out perfectly. And then the public can vote on their favorite design, and the winning artist will get a cash prize and then also a donation to the nonprofit of their choice.
The exhibit is open now here at the Galt House East Tower. It runs through Derby weekend. For more information, go to bourbonwithheart.org.